Hey guys, so hopefully, if you have time, you get to this piece. This is the propaganda poster. I'm not going to go through it one by one, but mainly I'm going to go through the expectations. Before you get to that piece, make sure that you have completed the assignment for agenda item 4. Completed, and then also your teacher may have decided to possibly go through the answers. Not really sure, but do not do agenda item 5 unless you have completed everything else up to this point, because you'll miss some pieces. The biggest thing is you're going to have to take time to find a story or an example currently or within recent history that you think is a good example that violates human rights. So, for instance, this is mine: child labor in high poverty countries. All right. What I did was I went to, you can do some of your own research, but keep it simple more than anything, because I only want you on the research piece to take 5 to 10 minutes before you get started on creating the propaganda poster. If you're taking longer than 5 to 10 minutes, you are taking way too long. If you think that the UN website, which I'm about to go through, is too complicated, at the bottom of Google Classroom, I attached 2 examples from Junior Scholastic that you could possibly choose. They're a little more simple and straightforward, and they give you pretty much all of the pieces that you need for the poster. So each poster is just going to be on a simple 8.5 by 11 sheet of paper. And then you're going to need to follow these expectations. So what it says for number 1, you'll notice hand-drawn and handwritten. And that also includes my explanation on the back. Something that I didn't plan about very well was the marker bleeding through on the back. But I can still read that, but I'm giving you the heads up to not make that same mistake. This is what happens when you do it late at night when you should be asleep. Second thing, it needs to be a country or a region within the Eastern Hemisphere. The third thing, on the back side of your paper, this explanation, yours may not be as in-depth as mine, so this one that I'm showing you right now exceeds expectations. On the back side of your flyer, 5 to 7 sentences, which should have items A through D, what you see for number 3. So the first thing, what is the main issue that is leading to the violation of human rights? When has this issue taken place? Like, you could say when it started. You could just simply say this is currently going on and it's been going on for a while. What happened that began this issue that has happened to make the issue only get worse? So that's historical context and background. And then where is it taking place? So if there's multiple locations, or if it just says a continent. So in this case, it lists a bunch of countries in Africa and a few in Asia. So I mostly am just focusing on Africa myself, and you'll kind of understand why when I summarize what's going on. And then the last thing, why has this issue been long-lasting and still a problem without a solution? So that's a pretty big thing that you write up on the back for number 3. I'm not going to read everything here, but just to give you guys kind of an idea of what analytical thinking I'm getting at when I describe the issue, why the issue's gotten so bad, and why this is violating human rights, and even possibly a solution for it. There is an increasing focus on rural families within developing countries to end child labor by 2025. The focus on rural and developing countries is likely due to inadequate technology being available for basic agricultural growing and harvesting. This has been an ongoing issue, especially in developing countries, because the demand for goods has gone up and the availability for affordable technology has not. So some of that is directly from the source that I'm going to show you, and then others is inferred based off of what I know and what I've learned this year. And a little further down, when I describe the issue, I say, given high poverty countries' lack of appropriate technology resources, they most likely rely on human power, and unfortunately, it takes a lot of human power to equal the power of a machine. So again, that's my reasoning for why the problem's possibly gotten worse. I tied it to political and economic, but also just simply social and technology as well. I'm not going to be looking super in depth, but I'm going to be looking for what kind of connections you're making and how deep they go, how analytical they go. Before I get into the source, number 4 is writing out the entire article, which you can see right here, and then possibly 3 to 4 sentences explaining why the right is not universally being upheld in the country or the region you have chosen. I did it on the back. I would prefer that you do it on the front, but at the very least, if you run out of space and you just do the article on the front and then you explain it on the back, I can work with that. Number 5 is simply coming up with a creative slogan. Or excuse me, number 5 is coming up with appropriate images. Number 6 is coming up with that slogan. You'll notice that I'm not an artist, but it still is pretty easy to see what's going on. And then the last thing is extra credit where it says detail a hypothetical solution to this violation being followed. Your teacher's going to have this example available so you can look at this more closely if you're really struggling. The source that I used is the UN source, is from the United Nations. What you can do is you click on the link and it'll go straight to different human rights violations. And these are the most recent ones right now. And as you can see scrolling through, there's a lot of options. Within the last 2 days, I believe, these 2 stories have just come up. Notice the dates on these. Like, we're talking very recent. This one is from today when I recorded this on the 19th of January. So you should be able to find so many different options. Here's the thing, though. When you click on, so let's go with Yemen, since that's definitely in the Eastern Hemisphere. When you click on these stories, you're going to need to skim through it. So think about the close reading protocol steps that we did, where you're previewing, questioning, and inferring. Definitely make sure you're previewing the text first because it's going to be easy for you to get lost. If you don't get all the answers in the source, you can look up other things. But again, this shouldn't take more than 5 to 10 minutes, 15 maximum. If you're struggling, if you're 5 minutes in and you're struggling, maybe keep it simple by going back to the Junior Scholastic sources that I uploaded here, because these are possibly a little more simple and user-friendly. Also, keep in mind that these issues are tough for some people to understand. They're also tough emotionally to think and comprehend. Things of history, whether they're currently in the making or of our past, are not always pleasant. And so we deal with sometimes the ugly side of human existence. So keep a responsible mental and emotional heart while you're doing this. And that specifically is where the school-appropriate friendly images as well as the slogan comes into play. I think that's everything for it. When you look at this assignment sheet, it's going to look a little bit different than what you're seeing right now. It shouldn't be more than a page. So hopefully it's enough for you to get started.